As you see, they've got a neck on the floor. He's got his hand on her neck.
He's straight out of Wales with the wind in his sails. He's tipping the scales, Silurian trails, revealing their names while he's lifting their veils. Public as sales, no one exhales. Won't read in the mail, it's not printed in braille. No bonus for sales, the light will prevail. He's telling the tale while he's hot on the trail. Whole nother scale, he's hammering the nail. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
Step back, please, you'll be arrested. Step back. Press, don't even pick on me. Are you watching this? The press aren't allowed to film.
Injustice is served, collar crime is submerged. Don't be absurd, your vision is blurred. He's seen it occur, so right there on the curb. His iPhone record, he's filming the herd. BLM thugs act like palms high on drugs. They wrecking the place, they're smashing the face. He's in with the thick, in with hammers and sticks. Exposing the truth, he's showing the proof. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
You just don't want to see it there. You just don't want to see the violence. You don't want to see the violence on some of those people. 3 people on a woman.
Support for the vets, pray unless we forget the pain he besets and the truth he projects. He's a victim of threats, but he never regrets. Live stream the upsets, no printing gazettes. He's taken the test, got the pedo's address. No south, east or west, he streams the protest. No news is suppressed, the whole truth is expressed. To insanity test, he's facing arrest. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hare in the headlight.
There's 4, 5 on 1. There's 2 on a girl. They pinned her to the floor. This one's getting a bully boy tactics. That's from the TSG probably. Sergeant, yeah.
Good evening. Welcome to Real News Live News. Could you all please start sharing, folks? It's been a busy week. Obviously, I wasn't on last week because I was in Llanelli, and it was a good weekend as well. So I will cover all that as well during the show. So, folks, please start sharing. Let's get a couple of banners up. Beware, right? If you get a lot of comments tonight, right, which are, how can I put them? A lefty side, because obviously what happened on Wednesday last week and what happened on Saturday, please don't bite, because they're just there to get you a ban, folks. That is it. So please don't, do me. Because they're just absolute tossers, to be honest with you, folks. They just after trying to get you a ban. Let's put that up, folks. Right, let's go to the comments. Evening, Arlene. Evening, Tommy. Evening, Welsh Blondes. Hope you're all doing okay. If you just want to leave a comment, you can follow me on YouTube as well. That's Real News Live News or Demo Welshman. You can also, I'm going to try and get it onto Getter tonight, but it's just going to be a link over to Getter, so you can just follow it. It'll just lead you back to YouTube anyway, folks. So yeah, please jump on. But please share, because this is quite important, folks. What I've witnessed over the last 10 days, it's election fraud. There is. It's in election interference as well. So let's get this right. Yeah. So please share. Right. I've got Paul Dowson on. He's from Pembrokeshire, West Wales, I think it is. And he's been bullied for 5 years. He was elected as a councillor in his ward. And what's happened, folks, he's been bullied for 5 years. So we're going to go over the story with Paul. We'll welcome Paul on now. Evening, Paul. How are you doing, mate?
Not too bad at all.
So,
all right.
What's it like losing an election?
Well, if it was lost in a fair manner, it wouldn't be so bad. You have to just take it. But it was lost in a fraudulent way, and some of the sort of underhanded tactics make you mad. So, as far as I'm concerned, the wrong person is a councillor now.
Yeah, I personally think you've been attacked, bullied. Election interference has happened. Are you going to take it any further with the police?
Oh, definitely, yeah. They did it during the Senate elections last year to me as well. And the election fraud department of Dyfed-Powys Police looked into it. But as always, when I reported something to them, it's because I'm a councillor, I deserve it.
Well, I don't think so.
No,
an election should be fought in the right manner.
What does your head in a lot of this is when you report it, rather than them investigating the actual guilt of the other person, they're investigating the fact I might be lying, or it seems as though they're trying to excuse it rather than prosecute it.
Yeah, it's not fair on your behalf, because you've done a lot of good things for your ward since you've served 5 years, and you've done a lot of good things in your area.
Yeah, well, my actual election thing was the fact that out of the 60 councillors in Pembrokeshire, I fought for a lot more issues than any of them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think you made a difference in your ward, but obviously, there's no way of beating about the bush. Stand up to racism. They got involved, probably with the help of Antifa as well, to deliver leaflets which were untrue, which is slanderous. Those leaflets are slanderous.
Yeah, yeah.
Right. I am going to put. I'm going to put the leaflet up now. I can find it. I'm sure I can. Right, folks. This no, wrong one. That's for later. Right. I can't screenshot. I can't zoom in. But if you can read it, folks, it says on May the 5th, vote to keep out racists and fascists. How many of these did they actually deliver around your ward?
I'd say about 1,000. Every single level. Yeah, I was going to some houses. I could see them lying there on the mat.
Oh, it's bonkers. They do mention Penally.
Yeah.
What was your idea about Penally? Because you did.
Well, I didn't get involved in any of the sort of argy-bargy protesting, because it just would have been a bad move. And they seem to be more concerned about Voice of Wales than me. That leaflet is 80% Voice of Wales. They claim I'm backed by Voice of Wales. Now, they claim a lot of things, but in order to make that legal, if they claim something, they have to back it up with factual evidence. And how can I be backed by them? What do they mean by backed? I've been a guest on the show a couple of times.
Yeah, at the end of the day, yeah, you've been a guest on their show a couple of times, but what they've actually put, I can't see any fascism. I met you a couple of times now, Paul, and I wouldn't say you're fascist. You speak your mind, and all you're saying is what's good for the country. So
I've actually asked them to come one-to-one, live stream, face-to-face, and if they're so sure of themselves, they can put me down on live bloody stream, make me look a right twat. But not once have they ever come up with any evidence or fact. They just ignore it, avoid it. What's the matter with these people? If I think they're tossers, I'll prove that they're tossers.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they've attacked you really badly, like over the last 5 years. And the thing is, like you said, 3/4 of that leaflet was actually Voice of Wales. We know their grievance with Voice of Wales. They've had them taken down on YouTube. I mean, they had 10,000 on there with the bad publicity, and then YouTube took their channel down because they were inundated by the BBC. So,
and then apologised for their mistake.
yeah, they apologised, but they wouldn't put them back on, mind.
No.
But you're getting the brunt of it. You've had the brunt of it.
I've lost contracts with my security job. I've lost a home. They phone up everyone or get in touch with everyone and put the pressure on, and people cave to it. You know, I'm technically I'm going to be unemployed. You know, they've taken it that far. They've had 8 coppers bust through my door with a drug supply warrant, and they set me up absolutely cracking there.
But they didn't find any drugs.
To pull that off, that is good. Fair dues.
So, but they didn't find any drugs.
Did they?
They didn't find any drugs.
No. You know, they've had my phone for a year looking for evidence of me supplying drugs.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, with these stand-up debates, that's hope not hate's tactic. That is, they do exactly the same. They attack people if you've got a different ideology than stand up to racism or hope not hate. They come after you. They attack you. They try to take away your business and everything. Stop thinking that you're going to stop speaking freely. Do you mean? Because the freedom of speech.
I've had them up chasing me as well. I got in touch with a venue where I provide security, and the owners told me what they said, right? And they said, look, we don't cave into that sort of thing. And I said, well, it's probably better for your business if I just walk away. You know, because they put it all over social media and everywhere. Yeah, it's unreal the levels that they go to, and people cave. I'll tell you how it all started, actually. When the council decided to light up County Hall in purple for the BLM movement, what happened was they put a statement out, a press release, which was a bit of an error. They said, in support and solidarity with the protests that are going on. So I said, I cannot support violent protests during lockdown. And all of a sudden, then, I was a massive racist. And Joshua Bain and Councillor Woke, he just, instantly, rather than just accept it or have a debate about it, he put on there, the only way to counter the rubbish he's talking is to report it to the Ombudsman. And he put a link there. 35 people instantly did it, reported me to the Ombudsman for racism. And, I explained quite clearly there, I was against the protests. I even said, yeah, I agree, Black Lives Matter. Then Unison and the Labour Party made a complaint claiming that I said White Lives Matter. Now, BBC asked me about this as well. And what I said was Black Lives Matter, White Lives Matter, All Lives Matter. But they took that out in context. And it's a Ku Klux Klan statement, they claimed. And they also said that according to the Southern Poverty Institute, which is a frigging law company in America, it's a racist statement. So if they could take something out of context out of that and publicly shame themselves by doing so, what the hell is this world coming to? I even offered to resign. If they could prove I said it, I said I'll resign.
The thing is, Black Lives Matter is a racist slogan on its own. Like, people don't like to admit it, but it is. It's the same as White Lives Matter. That's a racist slogan on its own. If we're going to go down the middle of the line, like, do you mean? Well, we're talking all lives matter. Everything matters. Do you mean?
The problem is, well, you're against the Ombudsman, who is a puppet of Welsh Labour. The former Ombudsman, Nick Bennett, is so prejudicial and biased. I don't know how he's got the cheek to do this. I said White Lives Matter, Yellow Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter, Extraterrestrial Lives Matter, Animals Lives Matter. Now, I'm up before the Standards Committee. I'm still going, by the way, because there's going to be a hell of a scandal with this one. And he decided that yellow lives meant I was referring to people of Eastern Asian origin. Well, I'm afraid I wasn't. It was a colour. And then he said, by saying animals lives matter, I was comparing black people to something that we eat. You couldn't make that shit up, could you?
No, you can't, right? It's just, it's totally bang out of order.
I pulled this report apart, and it'll be scandalous.
The thing is, this is just a a tip of the iceberg of what you've had to go through in the last 5 years, mate. People don't
Yeah,
understand. You being a councillor, you've been attacked. Do they? It's just
yeah.
wrong.
I couldn't strike back. Well, that's what I did. That was the problem. I struck back. If I'm getting bullied, I was brought up to, I can't kick the shit out of them anymore, but bully them back. People only see the bullying back bit, and they assume that I'm the troublemaker.
Oh, it's mad. So what actually happened over Penally then? Who attacked you?
Well, Penally wasn't. Penally wasn't so bad. It's only ever referred to as I turned up at Penally. I'm a racist, but I was talking to some of the guys here behind the fence, asking questions. I actually said in the papers as well, it's like a concentration camp and shouldn't be used, which in fairness is far from being racist. But they used that, Antifa, used it, and the various groups that they set themselves up under, Sack Councillor Dowson they set up, and all these fake profiles of God knows what.
Oh, right. So, what are you going to be planned to do to react to what's happened now?
Well, I've got to push. The trouble is because you're not a lefty, you don't get exposure. Nobody wants to know. I'm hoping now, because I'm still, up before the Standards Committee and the adjudication panel on the most ridiculous charges ever, and I have pulled it apart. I've spent time. I don't know how much time. I've been awake for 2 nights in a row sometimes, and I have ripped every bit of this report to pieces. And it is just going to show. I don't know why they haven't withdrawn it, because it's that ridiculous. It's just, I'll give you an example. RSE. I said that it's a UNESCO global rollout. We know it is. And I provided a letter from Kirsty Williams, the Education Minister, saying it's a UNESCO rollout. The Ombudsman said, Councillor Dowson has shown no evidence that it's a UNESCO rollout. Well, the Education Minister said so. That's not good enough. And it's full of little things like that, on and on and on.
Yeah, John Lawrence just put up, according to Dr. Louise Raw, I started the trouble at Tommy's MEP campaign, and they implied I had young lads round my house in Hollingwood collecting bottles and bricks to throw at the charger. I have no idea what that meant, but Dr. Louise Raw, she actually she nicked my live and put it on a Twitter account. So thank you. Thanks for spreading awareness. I'm quite happy that Dr. Louise Raw did that. I have no idea what the rest of the comment means, mine, but we'll go into that after. So yeah, mate. So do you think, why, if you're not a councillor anymore, why can they still put you under take you under the committee?
Because they can suspend for up to 5 years at the adjudication panel, so it would stop me from standing again within 5 years. I could tell them, kiss my ass and not bother, but I sent them a letter last week and I said, look, the sooner the better. I'm really keen to do this. Please, please. Let's get this done, but it has to be public.
Right, yeah. Well, I hope you do win, but I would like to see you prosecute these 2 people for delivering those leaflets. I'm going to put them up now. So this one first. Who's he?
Patrick Connellan.
Who is he?
Patrick Connellan. Never met him, no idea who he is, but he knows me really well because he says I'm a racist.
All right, without proof, you mean?
Yeah, that's it, but he must obviously knows me to come out with something like that.
So, yeah. And this other one, do you know these 2 people?
The one that looks like she could do with a good wash. I don't know who that is. Well, the back to us is Helena Hetfield. Don't even know if it's a real name.
Oh, right. So, are you gonna try and get those 3 prosecuted? Because
definitely, yeah.
It cost you an election.
Yeah, it did. Yeah,
it shouldn't
cost
be
the reputation in the town that out of the 3 candidates, I'm the only local. But people believe that shit.
So the other 2 candidates, they weren't even from the town, were they? From the ward?
One of them is one of the Antifa mob. She's also one of the, I think, admin maybe on Stand Up to Racism. She only stood in the ward because she hates me that much and she wanted to mess the vote up. Absolutely hateful, horrible person. Stood outside the polling station staring daggers at me all day. And that's what she does. She is her husband, Councillor John Harvey's cabinet member. He came up and said, "The things you're saying," I said, "Go away." Because if he'd stood there any longer, he wouldn't have been standing there, I tell you that. And they just think that they can get away with bullying people the way they do. The other one, Labour candidate who won, she's lived in the area for 6 years. In that time, she stood in 4 wards, so that shows her commitment. And recently, she was talking about something that I fought for, to get an HGV tanker park moved out of town. And she said, "Well, it's a ferry port. But these tankers got nothing to do with the ferry." Shows how much she knows about Pembroke Dock. But she got in because she got the Labour vote.
Lisa Thomas has said, "Drop some truth bombs, Dowsy." Do you know Lisa Thomas?
Yeah.
Is she a good one or a bad one?
Oh, hey, she flicked from side to side.
Is she?
I thought they were a good one.
Yeah, she's a good one. Hello, Lisa. Yeah, so I don't really, unless you get them into court, this is the only way they're going to teach them a lesson. Like,
there's a lot of a lot of it's down to civil action, which obviously you've got to have money to be able to pursue, and that's where they've got you, because people cannot afford to go out and take civil action against them. Defamation is a civil matter.
Yeah, the problem is they've got money behind them. They can do anything they want because they've got the Labour Party. They've got Stand Up to Racism, which is, how can I put it? Stand Up to Racism, Antifa. They're all like financed by, Soros.
Yeah.
I've got to put it up
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
And at the end of the day, they're trouble. Like, do you know what I mean? They can fight in court.
If I suggest something about somebody else, I'm arrested. I've had one of them threaten to split me from my belly button up, and I videoed the phone conversation because I told them to f off. Right, and the police decided that they couldn't do him for it, a death threat.
Oh, that's mad. That is, mate. You should always carry a phone on you, and you should always record everything that when you're in public, mate, because then you've got them by the balls. The police can't really,
Yeah,
because you can have a witness with you, and makes no difference.
I had a harassment notice, a PIN, a PIN, a police information notice is. Now, they cannot be removed, like they're there. They issue them as a sort of warning. When I first became a councillor, this chap went to the police and said that I told him how he'd shake when I saw him. What he failed to tell them is that he started the conversation. I was just replying. And when I told him, it took me 6 weeks, but they eventually removed it. But so easy to just give it to me and take this guy's word for it.
Oh, it's bonkers, mate. But the thing is, you've been living in fear as well, mind, haven't you, really? Because these people can just pop up anywhere. And,
you've got to look into your all the time.
And the thing is, it does affect your business, like you've already said. Like, you've lost contracts.
Yeah.
I mean, as a councillor, you weren't actually earning loads and loads of money, like, do you know? The councillor's position isn't. You've got to take another job.
There's a good measure there. Well, the 2 other candidates had 150, 160 votes each. I got 80, right? So if there's that many people who are against a councillor who's done more for the town than anyone before him, it just goes to show how they would feel about my business.
Yeah. It was a low turnout as well, mine, wasn't there?
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say nothing here, but did you watch the count? All the votes come in, and did you watch them for the 2 days? Which were they in your sight all the time?
I went to the postal vote, but I didn't go to the actual count. I just knew that, and I didn't want to give the lefties there, my opponents, the satisfaction of being able to laugh. Because when I beat her husband in the Senate election, she stormed out in a massive temper tantrum. They would have milked that so much, and I wouldn't have been able to hold my patience with them, so I just didn't go.
Yeah, but you should have had somebody watching those votes, because
if it had been close, I'd have been worried. But it was, they had double what I had, so
Yeah, but you might have had votes that went missing. Like it happens. It does happen.
Yeah, it does happen, doesn't it?
Did they interfere outside as well?
They interfered every single step of the way, and they just assume that they can get away with it. And until people take a stand and authorities take a stand, it's going to get worse.
Yeah, so they were standing outside. I bet they were giving out those leaflets as well.
I know you're allowed as a tenant, you're allowed to ask people if they got the card. Well, this was a candidate asking them and pressuring them. The returning officer turned up twice because of it, and they carried on doing it after I recorded it.
Well, if you recorded it, you should report it to the election commission, because it's not allowed. It isn't allowed.
No.
Let's go back to the Wednesday before, right? The Wednesday before the election. Now, Voice of Wales held. It's called Answer Time. It's an alternative to Question Time, which the BBC do, because obviously they handpick everything. The questions are handpicked. Even the audience is handpicked most of the time. And so basically, we organised. Well, I didn't organise. Voice of Wales organised Answer Time. They've done 2 already. No problems. Obviously, the far left or Stand Up to Racism have tried to shut them down, but they managed to have 2. Okay, so on the third one, Stand Up to Racism, Antifa, they all plagued. I put my honest opinion, I would think it was an inside job.
Yeah,
because I've seen the reviews on that Clockwork pub in Llanelli, and every single comment that was against Clockwork Orange, the manager put a laughing smiley.
Oh, so right, that's a typical tactic, yeah.
Oh, I'm lighting the fag. I'm not allowed to light the fag. Not doing this show because I've got a stretch ball. So this is what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be going like this when I want to fag, folks. It was a Christmas present off a friend of mine who stayed 2 weekends ago.
Is that Adam Vincent? It looks very familiar, that.
Where to? I've got an Adam. I interviewed an Adam, but I'll show it later on. Adam Antifa, who's calling himself, folks. So I will show it. Later on. Yeah. Well, I'm off my head because I'm smoking a fag. And I'm playing with my stress ball. I've gone off target now. So, so this Clockwork place in Llanelli, Voice Wales booked it, and they were. Soon as the left found out, or Stand Up to Racism, yeah, it is Lucia. So, it was Lucia Thomas. That's who it was. Of course, I know Lucia Thomas. Yeah. So basically, what they did, as soon as they found out, it was about 5 o'clock. The venue details was put out. So they decided withheld numbers ringing the place. They've been constantly for 2 hours. And they were sending emails. And they obviously the manager buckled. I don't blame him if he didn't know. That's fair enough. That's fine if he didn't know. But obviously, if they've had a email off Voice of Wales, it's pretty obvious why they're going there. So
yeah, it's the pub, isn't it? They're not hosting it; they're just facilitating it.
But there you go. There's interference with an election again, because there's 3 candidates getting asked questions for standing for the councils. Yet again, what do we get? Interference by stand up to racism. Probably Hope Not Hate, Antifa. They all join together, and all they do is attack you. But I've got to say this, because we had it outside. They've told everybody it was cancelled. It wasn't cancelled. That's utter lies by the far left and Antifa. It didn't stop anything. It still went ahead outside the venue. Am I right?
If they had any confidence in the shit that they come out with, they'd have turned up and argued the fact with us.
Well, that's what they were doing. They were saying, "Oh, shut it down," and they were giving threats via email. Now, at the end of the
Yeah,
day, and they said they'd all turn up. All these people would turn up. Where were they? I didn't see any of them. Not one.
yeah, I've begged them. I've begged the candidates that stood against me. I've begged them all to come and do a live one-to-one and tell me why I'm a racist and prove that I'm a fascist, and they just won't do it.
No, they won't. They can bully you online. They can, but when it comes to face, they're not interested in to try to bully you. Then it's wrong.
I offer to do it on Zoom, so they don't have to say they were intimidated. Because if I thought somebody was, let's say, a racist, for instance, I'd have the evidence to back that up, so I could go there face to face on a live and own their ass. You know,
Yeah.
why are they doing that?
Yeah, that's it. Admin, there's a smiley face on Real News Live News page. Whoever it is, just block them. It's a lot easier.
I'll be Jamie McDonald, probably. But
As soon as they put smileys up, we know exactly who they are. Do we? We're on to them straight away. So fair play. And they're probably watching now. They're typing the comments, but they know they can get blocked. My admin are on form today. They've been on form all day. They've been blocking them.
I'm a bit worried now with those smiley faces. It's making me a bit nervous.
Oh, yeah. I'm biting my nails. Oh,
shit, and smiling at me.
I've been on the watch page for Antifa, stand up to racism and all that. You know what I mean, before, because obviously I went to Penally as well, but they are so dull. They don't know where I live, and they've got no idea, and they're never ever going to find out because nobody knows where I live. Like, doing as simple as that. Like, because these tossers think they can just, they threaten to turn up. But they can't find me anyway if they wanted to.
I asked them to. I want them to.
The smileys are all right. It must have been something we said. Must have been. So, folks, please keep on sharing. We're going to keep on talking about this now. So, on Wednesday, so what was your views regarding the place being shut down?
Do you know, it didn't surprise me in the slightest. What did surprise me was the fact they shut it and went home. You know, that's how worried they were, because we did it in the street. It still took place. Thank God, because, you know, their intentions always to shut it down properly. So, you know, that was one in the eye for them. And but they should have turned up. You know, if you're going to mouth off about everything like that, just turn up and have at least the confidence in what you're saying to do it in person.
Yeah, well, why didn't they just let the show go ahead for freedom of speech, and especially not interfere interfere with an election, and just come along and ask questions like adults do?
This is what worries me. It really does. You know, it's taking hold. It's happening, and people aren't really noticing what's going on. And bit by bit, you know, freedom of thought is going to be gone soon. You know, 10 years ago it was totally different. And these people, it's like an infestation in all types of elections. There are good people standing down. There are people not standing. It's only a matter of time before somebody takes a tragic turn of events, and, you know, they're going to have well, they won't care if they're responsible for it. It'll be a victory to them. But, you know, that's the way it's going. And then it'll be too late.
Yeah. I just think stand up to racism. They are probably racist themselves. But what bothers me is they're all teachers. A lot of them are teachers from the Unison and stuff like that. And they're standing, the things they stand for are ridiculous. Like, they turned up on Saturday in Telford against a anti-grooming protest, but they stood on a counter protest. So why were they doing that when they were meant to be? They should have joined the protest. You know, they should have joined it.
Yeah. And the annoying thing about it all is, right, racism in many forms is against the law. It's a crime. And as far as I see it, you know, if you're racist, you've done something that actually affects the life of somebody of a minority group. Now, when were they put in charge of deciding who is a racist? Yeah, when did the government decide? Well, hey, I tell you what, stand up to racism. You know more about this than us. It's your call. Call some of the racists. It's got to be true. But people just don't see it.
The word racist now, it's branded around just to shut you up. It's the same as
the real racist off.
the same as the word Nazi. That's just branded around to shut you up because you got a different idea to them, and they don't like your idea, so they just call you a Nazi, like, and it's mad.
How many people who think probably don't even realise what a Nazi is? They're just thinking of a German soldier. It's just a word. It's just an offensive word they use.
They'd be looking at this now. There's me with my stress ball.
I tell you another thing that confuses me as well. Stand up to racism. Mainly white, Caucasian people. Yeah. Now, who are they to decide what's racist on behalf of another culture?
Yeah, well, it's the same as Antifa, isn't it? They're mostly youngsters, white, from a middle-class family who are in university.
They try to portray themselves as some sort of paramilitary organisation, but they always seem to fall over after one smack.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm being quiet about this.
We've seen the videos.
I don't get involved with that, do I? All I'm there to do is to film and get the best footage.
Yeah, there's some good compilations on YouTube.
Yeah, they do get their comeuppance. Yeah. You know,
paramilitary, see?
Yeah, Kirsty. Yeah, it's brilliant. I mean, it's just
too.
Because I do smoke. I even rolled up a fag. During the show, and I'm thinking to myself, no, I've got a bloody stress ball here. It's more professional not to smoke while I'm on a live. You can go ahead, Paul. I don't mind, mate, because I know you have.
I'm a bit surprised you've only got one, really, because they do come in pairs.
I'll ask it to send me another one. Do I?
Yeah, I think you'll do it too. Yeah. Do you know what I've got on my laptop? I've got 2 laptops and a couple of SD cards or whatever. There are 7,000 plus separate comments and all from these dickheads, right? And there's not one of them that isn't offensive. Now, how long does it take to get 7,000 offensive comments? There's probably a solid year's worth there. And if I put them on YouTube or whatever, they just get really boring because it would take about 4 or 5 hours just to scroll through them. But, you know, I'm trying to think of a way to get it out there. You know, all these people with their fake profiles and, you know, all they're making allegations under different names because they won't stand up, you know, for their own beliefs themselves. You know, it's 7,000 plus.
Have you been to put them onto a SD card and taken them to the police?
Yeah, I've got 3 or 4 times. I've made discs for them even. Well, when Josh Bainan decided to start the bullying campaign back in June 2020, there was a massive influx straight away of them all. And they were absolutely malicious. It was harassment. Some of it was stalking. And if I'd have been anybody else, you know, I'd have had, you know, the proper treatment and they'd have been done. But nothing. 5, 6 times maybe now, I've given them enough evidence that, you know, just to prove that for a reasonable person that it's harassment, and never ever has anything been done.
Well, I think it's time for you to see a solicitor, really, because
but what's funny as well is that Councillor Bainan, he made a complaint which was turned down, right, dismissed, but under his rights, because he's gay or something, he had the rights to request a review. So they pulled me in and, you know, interviewed me for about 5 hours after they'd said no.
Oh, it's mad, because that was something else they accused you of, being homophobic, wasn't it?
Yeah, I worked for a couple of gays who absolutely think it's hilarious. They keep saying we need to make some pictures of us all together and all. I said, why? We shouldn't have to do that, like, you know. And you know, homophobic. They do. They piss themselves laughing at that one.
Yeah, I know a few gays around, and so if you want to start calling me, I'll just turn up with all my friends. I don't care. I mean, I worked in the leisure industry for 15 years in senior management. Like, you know, And I'd run in caravan parks, buildings and stuff like that. I also run Bournemouth Pier, the 2 piers in Bournemouth. So and in the leisure industry, a lot of people are behind the bars and stuff like that. They are actually gay. The entertainment staff as well. So I mean, Dimmy, I don't care what they say about me. Like, Dimmy, I'm straight.
I've worked for nearly every hotel hospitality company there is. SA Brain Travel Lodge. I was area manager for Travel Lodge. I was the only straight bloke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to work. I worked professionally and on a friend sort of level with gays, lesbians, whatever. It makes absolutely no difference to me what they choose to do with their lives. You know, they're just another person. I either like them or I don't.
Mm. So, also, didn't you get a kind of? I'm not sure what happened to you. It was something to do with PCP Wales, wasn't it? Something you quoted from their website.
Oh, yeah, this is misquoted it. Things. What I did, right, it was a genuine mistake. When I posted about RSE, I said that they would be teaching self-pleasure and masturbation from age 0 to 3, when in fact I meant to take 3 to 6. Right, and the Ombudsman actually quoted this. This guy is a clown. He actually quoted that although I'm allowed to make a genuine mistake, I do believe that Councillor Dowson was deliberately misleading. Well, if I was deliberately misleading, I wouldn't have made a mess up on the age. I'd have given a load of bullshit information. Yeah, that's deliberately misleading. Again, it comes with that Kirsty Williams letter where he said that there's no evidence, when in fact she's saying there is. And it just goes on and on and on. Everything they said, I'm deliberately doing this. And they've even got me on one, right? I've got to go to the adjudication of this. Fake profile on a web page. Said I should stop breathing, call me a Nazi, call me everything. So I said he was a tosser. And then I said, I hear you're on the Antifa Watch register. Now he took that as me meaning the sex offenders register. So he complained under a different name, right? Now let's say his name was Tim Jones. He complained as Tim Smith and said that it's defamed him, ruined his reputation, blah, blah, blah. The Ombudsman looked at that and thought, yeah, he's right, you know. This Timothy Jones on the website is deliberately hiding his identity. He admits that because he works in mental health, God knows why. You know, I think the truth of the matter is he hides his identity because he's a shithouse like the rest of them, and he won't put his real name there. But I have now caused this guy undue harm, pressure, defamed him, harmed his credibility. It's not even his name.
Yeah, it's just bonkers, mate. I called
myself Mickey Mouse. I made a profile, and somebody called me a kiddie fiddler or something like that. I could complain to Paul Dowson and say he's harmed my reputation. He called Mickey Mouse a kiddie fiddler.
Are you going to ever stand for election again?
Oh God, yeah. I never give up on this. No one beats me ever.
Well,
if they beat me fair and square, fair enough.
The thing is, right, if they're allowed to put all these leaflets out, you should get a few lads down and deliver some leaflets of your own about the candidate.
I'd be done for it, wouldn't I? I'd be done.
Yeah, well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander, like, do you mean?
Yeah, but I also understand the fact that they don't care about that, and I'd be locked up. It's such an imbalance, such an imbalance.
Oh, it is, definitely. Yeah, 0 to 4, what Lucia is saying. The WHO sex education document is actually stating that 0 to 4 sex education and masturbation, and our government signed up to this document in March 2017. Well, what's actually been said is that from 0 upwards, they are sexual from birth. Now, this is what they're saying.
That's age inappropriate.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's from 3 upwards regarding masturbation, but it's 0 to 3.
Yeah,
0 to 3, they are sexually active as far as our government's rights for these children are concerned. There's no safeguarding in it.
They actually sent a cardboard, I won't turn the camera, it's behind me, a cardboard box, right, with probably 10,000 pieces of paper in it, that the Welsh government provided to say that the RSE sex curriculum isn't this. It's the ordinary education curriculum. It isn't RSE. Now, I've figured out now that the Welsh Government don't even know what they've signed up to. You know, and bit by bit, they're realising. They're saying, oh, Council House is misinformation. And they genuinely believe it because they don't know. They haven't got a clue what it is they've signed up to. I found all of the frameworks. I found the guidelines, UNESCO, World Health Organization, where it plainly states 0 to 3 will be taught about how touching yourself is pleasurable, not to do it in the classroom. And now, okay, that's guidelines, framework, but it's got to be built around that, which is wrong. And Welsh Government won't even have that. They won't accept it. They didn't know that that's what they've signed up to.
Well, they're going to have a shock with PCP Wales because they've got a court case on. And,
yes.
They've been in the news. They've been on TV. They've been in papers, and they're doing really well with their campaign. So at the end of the day, the Welsh Government are going to find out what these parents think of. And I heard a rumour today. I'm not going to say who from. Believe it or not, you're not going to believe this one. But I actually heard a rumour from a son of a teacher, and the teachers have actually contacted the union on this new sex ed, and they don't want it. They're not prepared to teach it. So
be careful then, because
it's not over yet.
Adjudication.
It's not over. But like I said to this person, I did say, at the end of the day, when the government makes a law, you've got to abide by it if you like it or not. Like, so it's not all cut and dry yet, because the unions aren't happy about what they are meant to be teaching the kids, and they've already said they don't think that they're qualified to teach this.
Well, every person's got their own attitude.
This is just a rumor. This is just a rumor I heard.
Well, you know, can you imagine a prudish type of person trying to teach it, and then an outrageous sort of outgoing person? It'd be a totally different lesson.
Yeah, definitely.
It's not happening.
But they're crafty, because what they've actually done is they've actually incorporated it into all the lessons, not just sex education.
Yeah.
So it's hard, because also you can't, if you wanted to opt out of sex ed for your child, you can't, because that was a law they brought into Wales. You can't opt out of it. But also, it's in every lesson anyway, so you'd have to take them out of school. You can't just opt out of sex education. You've got to take your child out of school.
Well, it's religious and sex education. So, you know, and there are some religious groups, and we have to respect their religion. And that sort of thing is totally against their religion. So how can we discriminate in that way and not discriminate in another way? It's ridiculous. I can't understand why the Ombudsman hasn't withdrawn this stupid bloody adjudication. They're going to look stupid.
Well, I'm hoping the PCP girls, they actually do rip them a new one, and that will start a big thing in the UK. It'll stop.
I've actually made a complaint about the Ombudsman. They lost my personal data. The first report, the one about Black Lives Matter, they normally, if they send something like that, it's recorded delivery. So they sent it out to me, the report, which is unfinished and is very, very up for dispute, or I can argue certain facts, but it's written in a truthful manner. And now they lost it. First class post. I went to the post office because the boys down there laugh. They know exactly what an ombudsman letter looks like. I said, have you seen it? No. The ombudsman's representative said, we sent it first class post. Sorry, we'll send another. It ended up in the public domain, and the local papers got hold of it and printed it. Now, I am bound, they say it quite often in their letters to me, I must not share this with anyone. It'll be seen as a breach of the code and could prejudice a hearing. Now, they have shared it with somebody through their attitude towards not caring by just sending it out first class post, but it doesn't apply to them. So I've gone to the ICO. I'm following the process of, I want damages for this. And if not, I go back to the ICO, because if we're talking a lot of money for what, the kind of, harm they've done to my reputation by letting this out in public. Mm. But it doesn't count because they lost it. It's only prejudicial if I lose it.
You can't make half of this crap up. Like, yeah, Lashir's just put down embedded across the curriculum so the children cannot get away from it. Getting children to explore their gender identity and sexuality before they even get into juniors. Basically, a child can, at the ages of 5, they can choose their gender. They don't have to tell their parents. They can have a different set of clothes when they go to school, and the teachers will keep it away from the parents. Now that's sick.
But it's
So
promoted.
carry on for me jumping in. That was just a comment. That was.
Yeah, it's promoted the way I see it is because we're so tiptoey around all this sort of thing. We tend to find we promote it rather than try and be unfair, trying to be level-headed and sort of fair about it. You know, universities are the worst.
Yeah, well, you got to remember, right? This indoctrination is going from junior school, from infants to junior school, to comprehensives, to colleges and universities, and that's what it is indoctrination, and that's everything.
You know, everyone's afraid to say the wrong thing. You know, you can't call someone black now because they're of colour. How the hell are we supposed to keep up with that? You know? I didn't get a letter from my daughter to tell me that the terminology's changed.
Yeah, that's right. There is, mate. It is absolutely bonkers. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to see if I can play that video of I interviewed a member of Antifa just before Christmas. We will talk about it because it is it's about their intelligence, there is, and their mentality. Okay. This is going to be fun. Some of you might have seen it today because I have posted it. Let's see if it's the right one. Right. There you go. Okay, Adam, what are you doing here today, bro? And what are your intentions?
I'll tell you what my intentions are. We're going to shut down that poxy business. We're standing up for their rights. That's what we're going to do. Oh. And we do not want to be called Antifa anymore. We want to be called Pantifa. Because after our demonstrations, we go out sniffing panties. That's what we do. We're Antifa.
So why are you doing this today then, Antifa?
You got the name correct for once? Yes, we don't like small businesses staying open, and we certainly stand by the government, by the corrupt Labour Socialist Party. Do you not understand things like that? Look, I dropped my coke now.
So where's the rest of your buddies?
My rest of my buddies? I don't need any other friends, do I? I'm Antifa. All I do all day is sniff panties. That's all I do. I don't really care about anything else.
Right then, Adam. So when do you think you're going to be here next?
We'll come here whenever we want to. When we're not robbing panties off washing lines. Ho 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 ho.
Right, I'm going to leave it there. That you're getting the gist of their mentality. His name is Adam, by the way. I don't know who Adam Pantifa his name is, but I have heard he's going to start a TikTok on.
I think you should stand for government, really.
Yeah, well, it seems that way. I just wanted to highlight what these people are like doing. I know it's a bit of a joke, but it is funny, doing. It did go on at the end, something about. I said, "What is he doing at Christmas or something?" And he said, "I'll be robbing the houses of their Christmas presents and stuff like that." But I'm sure we'll see Adam Antifa again, I will get another interview off. Yeah.
I noticed he didn't call you a racist. What's the matter with him?
Oh, he probably will do the next interview. Do you mean? He probably will. Yeah, Lady Thomas. It's great stressful. It stops me smoking through the show. I did start to roll a fag. But yeah, it's great. Who said leave him alone? Yeah.
Yeah, that Adam Antifa there is actually, it does reflect, and although it's a joke, it reflects on their attitude spot on to a T, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
but it
Yeah,
was. But Tommy has put up, Adam V will have you for slander. There was no mention of a V. There was no mention of a surname. All it was,
Adam is duller than that guy. Fair play to him.
he was the intelligent one out of the Antifa mob.
Oh,
I'm going to have so many complaints. I'm going to get banned like Timmy.
well, Mrs. needs to stop phoning me as well. I get sick of it.
Are they still phoning you, are they?
Yeah, I get harassed by his missus, like, you know, for obvious reasons.
Oh, that's bonkers, that is. Are you recording the phone calls?
I record everything. Do you know what? I have saved absolutely everything I've ever had from any of them.
Yeah. You need to, mate, and you need it.
So much now, it'd be boring if I played it to anyone.
Do you know what you should do? Just get copies of everything you've got and just walk into the police station and just keep on walking in and out with all the boxes and everything. Just plant it on there and just tell them you want something done, or I'm going to take it even further. Simple as that.
Like I've got a tower behind me here of files and God knows what. I haven't even read them because it's all bullshit.
Yeah, there is. I can guarantee you that this show will be copied all over the place at the moment.
Oh, God.
I don't really care. So yeah. So what do you think about? This isn't racist at all. Like, what do you think about Dritford now regarding free bus passes for Ukraine refugees in Wales?
It's like a parent bringing up a child, 2 children or whatever. You have to treat them the same. Otherwise, you're going to get problems. Now, Dritford seems to think that certain people need to have different treatment to others. Now, he's declared this a nation of sanctuary. Fair enough, carry on with that. You know, maybe we are. But, again, that could be measured and as far as financial cost to us. But you do not go out of your way to give somebody who we're gracious enough to allow to come here, and we support. We're a hell of a good nation when it comes to supporting others. But then he takes the piss by giving these people that we're welcoming here more than he'll give. It is a sort of local thing. We should have the same treatment as anybody else. This is our land. We're welcoming you in. Nothing against Ukrainians because they are great folk. They're slightly different to most. They actually, they thank us for what we're doing. But you do not. It's like the 2 children, like I said, you don't give one and not the other. It's absolutely ridiculous. The guy's lost his marbles.
Yeah, he's definitely lost his marbles because at the end of the day, we've got fuel prices increased. We've got fuel prices increased. We got food prices increased. We got heating prices increased. And what this idiot don't realise, do you mean? All that money he's spending on bringing people into Wales, paying for their free travel. What about the people who are working in this country, paying the taxes in this country, and they don't get no free bus pass, do they? Do you mean to go to work? No. They've got to pay hiked out fuels and bus prices and train prices. So where's their help?
It's not racist. It's not discrimination to feel that somebody's getting something that you're not. It's just the fact that this benefit is given to somebody that isn't given to you. That would be shouted and screamed about as racist and God knows what by these idiots. But Drakeford, it just goes to show he's not on the ordinary person's level. He seems to think that being overwoke about everything is the right way forward. It's like Councillor Bainan used to say, well, I'm fighting for diversity and equality in Pembroke Dock. It was fine before. There was enough. We're all well signed up to diversity and equality. And so it was made a massive difference to what? One person.
Yeah, mate. It's mad. And then you got like Boris, right? Boris has given over $1.5 million, $1.7 million before. You just offered him another 1.3 billion now. We're talking £3 billion has gone to Ukraine. Do you mean? When we've got a country in a crisis, the food banks are popping up everywhere, but they're going to get worse. People aren't going to
Yeah.
be able to afford to eat. People aren't going to be able to afford their rent. They're not going to be able to get to work or pay for fuel. Do you mean they're not? They're going to freeze in the winter because they can't turn the heating on. We've got another price hike regarding the electric and gas come October. Everybody thinks 54%, but what they forget to mention that our government could have actually helped them with 34% of that of the green tax. They could have taken that off the 54%. Oh no, but they expect us to pay for it, and then send £3 million of our taxpayers' money in cash and weapons to fight a war.
It happens.
Kill people.
It happens at every level, doesn't it? You know, it's like the Welsh government spent that 80 grand on a study about street names. That's 80 grand. Every week I look at the council housing list because I'm about to become homeless, and there's 2, maybe 3 properties there, because all the rest are filtered out and given to others, you know, in an underhanded, unfair sort of manner. I don't care what the need is. You know, the need should be level right across the playing field. You know, we do look after our own people, yes, we do, but you know, giving preferential treatment because somebody's X, Y, and Z, or you know, taking a housing property out of that list that ordinary people who've been waiting for years cannot have. And now we're welcoming people from every nation that we can think of that, you know, that claim to have a problem with persecution. You know, we can't just keep doing it, regardless of the race issues, regardless of what all these bloody weirdos scream about here. We're going to be bankrupt. We're going to have no money, and we're going to be a third world country.
We're already bankrupt, mate. That's what a deficit is.
Yeah.
When a country's got a deficit, that means they're bankrupt.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean you're the 5th richest country in the world, because you're not. You've got a deficit.
I remember working for travel as well. Area manager standing in one day, and there's like 20 hotels, and I almost got sacked for 200 quid deficit. Right? Now that's the sort of people you want running the country, that think that 200 quid is a million, because a deficit is a deficit. It was my argument with the Howell Var Health Board when I took that notice of motion to the council. They were 86 million quid overspent. Now, to me, that is like a problem. It's public money, though. They don't give a shit. So I went to the council. I said, listen, we need to recommend they put in special measures. You know, even the Welsh government could probably deal with it better than them. All a bunch of people on the board that probably never worked in their lives, all from a privileged background. 86 million, so what, you know? And only 4 councillors backed it out of 60. You know, it would have saved that hospital. It would have taken the decision-making powers away from them. And I would have, if it was up to me, I'd have got rid of the whole board and replaced them with people from Tesco's or somebody that's been a finance manager of a big company, rather than these bloody idiots.
Yeah, the thing is, they've sent £3 billion over to Ukraine, right, in the last year, last since war started. Well, I'm not saying that. I'm not taking sides on it, because all war is wrong. I'm not taking Russia's side. I'm not taking Ukraine's side. I don't believe what it is. It was just another diversion. The week the COVID ended, all of a sudden we had a war. That's it. I mean, you haven't heard anything about COVID at all on the news, really. I mean, but as soon as it starts to calm down, this so-called war, what's going to happen is COVID's going to come back ready for the winter. So
yeah. Well, this is when we as a nation need to go, no, we ain't doing it.
Yeah. Jax Black said, I can't be serious with a tit. I was flicking it for a bit.
You're going to wear that away.
But it's a stress ball. It is a stress ball. It's not my fault what the shape of it is. You know, it stops me smoking. It looks after my health. So I think it's a good idea. I do, to be honest with you.
I think that's promoted, you know, certain type of sexuality. That is.
A lot.
Straight.
Don't start. We'll have the LGBT onto us next. You know. You'll have a right.
The whole world is going mad. It is going mad. And we're all listening. And we're all caving in to the pressure and the bullying. There's so many people say to me, well done, nice one, we support you. But they won't dare say it in public because they know what will happen.
Yeah, Pablo, yeah, you're right. It's been planned for a long time ago. But I'm just waiting for the alien invasion. I can't wait. I want to see the aliens doing up in the skies. It'll be amazing.
I'm in trouble for that. Aliens. for saying extraterrestrial lives matter. It demeans other
It
races.
will be, mate. You can't shoot them down because, do you mean, their lives matter as well, even though they're not from planet Earth. But
Well, that'd be discrimination, wouldn't it, against a minority group?
yeah. But there's something wrong, really, about our system. I always thought that refugees are meant to go to the first country. If they're in a war-torn country, they're meant to go to the first country neighbouring them, and that's where they're meant to stay. Well, not travel through four countries to get to Britain. I mean, I can't fathom it out. Why
I certainly wouldn't leave my wife and family behind.
Yeah, especially after all of you're right. They come over here. They make sure they got their mobile phones over here.
Oh, if they haven't, we'll give them one anyway.
Yeah, it is right, isn't it? Yeah. Well, we got Ian on here. I thought it was Miss Piggy. I imagine that's my stress ball.
I know who he's referring to.
Yeah. So do I, mate. So do I. Yeah.
If anybody wants to take a look at my Facebook wall at the moment, I've shared a number of posts from somebody who was obviously not very well. The things that she's coming out with, it's being investigated actually, and an application to Facebook has been made now to open up the URL of the page so they can put it down properly as proof. But I've done about 4 or 5, and she is so obsessed with me and the rantings that she's coming out with, and none of it is true. As always, none of it is true. But the trouble is, do you know what really annoys me? What she says doesn't matter because she's a bit of a lunatic, but there are ordinary people commenting going, good, I hope he gets done. Well, on what basis, for what? Oh, because she said,
perhaps she fancies you, mate. She fancies you. It could be.
It has been suggested, actually.
Yeah.
I just think she's so fucking hates. And I'm just a very convenient target. But the annoying thing is, like I said, is these people that just chip in, going, yeah, I disagree with it.
Lee Edward Pierce. I'm going to get Paul a stress ball like yours tomorrow and a flat cap.
Where's my satellite dish, Lee?
Oh,
that's the competition. That is, we get on really well. It's only because I know I'm better than him.
Oh, what else is oink oink? Does anybody got a question to ask Paul? If you have, just please put it in the comments, and we'll ask Paul. Yeah, last weekend I went to Telford, and we had stand up to racism over there and that, and it was quite interesting. I filmed the whole lot, from start to finish. It was a good day, really. But there was another demo in Cardiff. It was a cannabis demo, legalized cannabis. Now, no, don't laugh. They had 300 people there, Paul.
Scientific fact, it doesn't do that much harm. And look at America. It's fine.
Yeah, well, at the end of the day, it's legalized in 27 states in America. Medical cannabis, and you can buy it in the shops as well. It's the same as Canada. It's legalized in Canada. At the end of the day, it's not always about recreational use. It's about medical use, and a lot of people don't understand.
I've never met a cannabis smoker that wants to kill me or take my head off.
I don't smoke this stuff.
Alcohol drinkers that do every week.
Yeah, I don't smoke this stuff. I don't do it.
That makes me sick, so I don't do it
either. Yeah, I just get too stoned on it. I have whiteys and stuff.
That's it. I don't drink either because it makes me feel sick too.
I've kind of cut down on my drink. Well, I used to have a drink like once every month or something, but since last November, that's a porky. The other weekend, I did have 2 bottles of wine because I had a friend staying here, and we did have something to drink, like 3 bottles between us. But last week in Telford, I stayed in Birmingham for 2 nights. All I had was two bottles, and that's it. One bottle a night.
Every weekend, I work on the doors in Tenby, which is stag and hen capital of the world. I like just get to see so many people that shouldn't really be drinking. Because if that's what they turn into, after a couple, the same as me, I was a dickhead when I was drinking. I stopped it because I realised. But there's some of the antics or some of the unreasonable sort of attitudes that they have. You kick them out and they tell you they're pissed, and I'm down. You can hardly stand up, mate. What are you doing? And it just goes on and on and on. Alcohol is one of the worst drugs that I've ever come across. Anyway.
Yeah, mate, it definitely is. It was part of my job because I used to run bars and nightclubs and stuff. It was part of my job to drink with members of the public and stuff like that. So obviously they buy me a drink, I could drink because I was management, So it does. It takes you down the wrong way,
yeah.
But the last 15 years, I haven't drunk hardly anything. I don't binge drink. I know how to control my drink as well now. So if I do have a drink, I'll have about 4 or 5 pints, and that's it. I'll start drinking Coke or something like that, and it doesn't interest me. I get enjoyment just having 2 or 3 pints and being with friends, and that's it.
When I was running hotels for Brains, SA Brain, they used to actively encourage me to sit at the bar and drink. I don't drink, but I'm a big enough bloody idiot without it.
Yeah, and me. Ian John Sturley said, "Paul, what have you done about Cunalan and his flying posting gang?" Nothing at the moment.
It's in the hands of the police at the moment. So, they actually replied to me and said, which part of this flyer is not based upon fact, and which part of this flyer are you disputing? Well, I think it's quite obvious the bit of a racist, Nazi, bigot, homophobe, all of the above. And instantly, straight away, what they're doing is trying to find a way to not prosecute it rather than find a way to. I always seem to be the one that has to get the evidence. I thought that was a police job, but I was asked for a page URL, so I gave a page URL. Then it come back saying, no, we need the screenshot, not just the URL. Well, I had to go out and get that. I'll just wait to see what's next. Maybe I've got to go and bring them around the house and interview them.
It's pretty naughty what they've done, and it's the same with the police. The police are absolutely useless all over Wales anyway. I've got to admit they are. It's the same as when I got run over. Nearly got run over. My life was nearly taken away from me. The guy did get sacked from his job, which was understandable. But the police watched the film. Then they said they lost it. I had to send it again. And absolutely nothing has been done about it. It's because of who I am and what I do. And because I was reporting on a Voice of Wales. Well, it wasn't. It was a Stan. I was reporting on Stan of what was going on with the LGBT colours being put down in Swansea. And I honest to God, I didn't say nothing to any of the workmen until I was pushed near the end of that car. I couldn't see the guy because my head was facing that way. Otherwise, I would have stopped him doing it. I would have put my foot up, and he wouldn't be able to push me onto the street. But the police, I understand, they are absolutely useless. I'll say it now. They are useless.
I come at a different sort of angle. It's like a Penally. I went up and thanked them because you could see it in their eyes. They're under pressure. They're being told that they have to behave in a particular way. I went up in Llanelli the other day to the 2 coppers and said, listen, it's not said much, but thank you. I think you're doing a great job. Because it goes above them. The ordinary copper probably doesn't want to be doing what they're told to do. And I've always had a healthy respect for coppers and the police. It's just the powers that be who controls them, the commissioner as well. They're as dodgy as hell. They're the ones that are handling everything. I think it goes up to a higher level whenever I've made a complaint, and it's bound to write to any reasonable person will go, yeah, that's a good complaint, and then it comes back then, and they've been told to stop going any further. And they don't like to tell me that. I can see it when they tell me.
At the end of the day, mate, right? So I've been doing this for 4 to 5 years now, and I've seen the police, especially the Westminster police, but I've seen the police all over the country in different places like Bradford, Manchester, Birmingham, and all the major cities. And they are a bad police force. They are, because all they're interested in is causing a riot or trying to shut you down. But if it was an ER or a BLM protest, they're all nicey. They're taking a knee. Do you mean they're do you mean on skateboards with ER? They were, weren't they? Talking to them on the main roads and stuff like that. It's a different mentality if you're standing up for your country than you are with all these stand up to racism and all this other bollocks. Like if there's Antifa, they were afraid in Croydon to do anything about Antifa who turned up. 100 turned up and were getting rowdy, like, do you mean? So it's two-tier police in there, as far as I'm concerned. Like,
I'm sure deep down they'd much rather just sit, and not put up with it.
Hello.
It's inspector level and above seem to be controlled by the woke, really, and the PC brigade.
Yeah,
I stood up at a public meeting and asked the commissioner, I said, excuse me, could I ask you a question?
I think I'm losing you. I am.
I said, how much does it cost to harass me? And he just looked at me. I said, how much does it cost to actually harass me? And he went, I'll give you a ring in the week. I'm still waiting. This is 5 years later. I'm watching the phone. It hasn't rung yet.
All right, Paul. I keep on freezing out. I do, mate. Can you hear me?
Yeah. That's Antifa. Yeah, they're interfering with your webcast.
they're probably reporting the live now. Yeah, they're probably trying to report me. Well, I'm gonna finish this off, right, Paul? Thanks for coming on again. You've been amazing as ever. Like, do you mean?
Space.
I mean, it's my Wi-Fi. I think it's my Wi-Fi.
There is a hell of a lot more. Just over the horizon.
For coming on, Paul. You've been amazing again. I'll check you back in the background if you want us to talk afterwards, or we can have a little chat. But thank you very much. All right, mate.
Just for people to know,
that was Paul Dowson, folks. He's had a bloody hard time the last 5 years. Do you mean, folks? Absolute hard time. He's been, do you mean, an election, which is part of his wages. He's lost, folks. Absolutely lost, because he should have won it. He should have won it. Without those leaflets going out, calling him a racist and everything else, it's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Yeah, I understand it was my end, Paul. It was coming to the end of the time anyway. I'm sure I'm getting a lot of reports, and yeah, definitely my end. Yeah, so what I'd like to say is, on the what date is it? The 21st, be in Cardiff, outside the Senedd. I'll put that up now. Yeah, folks, I'll be at this on the 21st. It's every 3 weeks, and this is Fighting for Your Children. This is, folks, this is for your children's education and what they can be taught, and not for you to lose the opt-out. And basically, you haven't got a say as far as your children are concerned. So please be there, folks, because it matters. It matters. They get amazing support around Wales. They do, folks. When it's a PCP demo, they always get a lot of support, folks. So please, if you can attend on the 21st at the Senedd, it'd be brilliant to see you all. It'd be amazing. Thank you again for all watching. Thank you all for sharing. It's been amazing as ever. Love the questions, and especially to my admin, because today they have worked hard to keep all the far left out of my group, out of my pages. They've stopped them so they can't comment. So, and the same on YouTube. I'm sure there'll be one or two on there on YouTube, and they've kept them out. So well done, please. Well done, folks. So this weekend, I'm not unsure what I'm doing yet. Oh, what's this? Won't be having no scampi though. No. I gotta tell you this story, right? We were at the last demo in the Senate. Tommy decides he's going to buy us, me and Stacey, some scampi, folks. So basically, he said scampi and chips is a large scampi and chips is £13.50. So that worked out to be £40-odd, like, do you know what I mean, folks? So he said, I'm not. He offered to pay our food. So I said, all right, then, fair enough, Tommy, because I buy his as well in return. So he came back. I have ordered scampi for you, he goes, for all of us, and it's £7.50. So yeah, we were like this. Can't wait for it to turn up, because he knows I love my scampi. Everywhere I go, I'll try to eat scampi. If it's in Scotland, anywhere in England, I'll try and have scampi. So it turns out, I've got to admit, it's not even, the bowl wasn't even as big as that. It had 5 pieces of fucking scampi in it and a piece of lemon for £7.50. Right? I couldn't believe it. None of us could believe it. £7.50 for 5 pieces of. Mind saying that, I should have known, because I had an organic cider. It was a small bottle of organic cider, a thin bottle. It wasn't even a normal bottle of cider. Organic cider was £6.50. Do you mean it wasn't even half a pint? So it's mad, absolutely mad, folks. So so yeah, that's a story about the scampi, folks. So like I said, thanks for watching, thanks for sharing, thanks to my admin who've done a brilliant job. I'll play my normal end to it. Put a brave face on my ground. Goodness. he still had to pay £22.50, right, did he? And he bought the drinks, so it's going to cost me. I know the next time we're on a demo, it's going to cost me a fortune, because he's going to take me to the dealer's place, and it'll be me pay it. I know what's going to happen, folks. So yeah, thanks for watching, folks. And let's see if I can find it. There you go.
Picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intercoastal. We're in one of these bands. So
that's my side, Dell, in Wilmington, North Carolina. But as he races and fights to win Friday, check out the 2 guys who seem to walk right by him in the background there with no trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media. Now it's the
Cruising, looking for some news, and losing it's amusing. Other people choosing the topics I can view, and the subjects I can chew on, the facts that I can spew, and the news they put their slew on. Twisty, turny, wriggly, wormy, squealy, squirmy news. Psychopathic journalists deceiving with their views, tightening like a tourniquet, they're aiming to confuse. Nightly negative narratives narrating you the blues. Blues and twos, new taboos, the pasta's all sold out. The hurricane's incoming and the world is dying out. Asteroids, blasteroids, steroids in their tails. The windiest ever windy gales are blowing in the dales. The sea levels are rising at a super duper rate. 247 365, the caliphate's your fate. Tidal waves are waving like the death rays from the sun. Duck and cover, stand your ground, there's nowhere else to run.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy.
Writing, fighting, to publish stuff exciting. Losing it's amusing, other people choosing. The posts that I can post and the documents I can read from. The info I can feed from, the facts the checkers get wrong. Sleazy, slimy, geeky, grimy, blackout, soulless tech. Concluding with a clickety-click what's wrong and what's correct. Politically encouraged with protection from the law. They're getting pretty ruthless now, they're panicking for sure. Scrubbing out the info like a scrubber in a tub. Deleting the derogatory of the members in their club. Documents and studies disappear without a trace. Psychopathic moralists, they're doing it in your face. The info is erasing at a super duper rate. Breach community standards, your account will feel a fate. Post a funny meme means that you hate and are extreme. No chance of an appeal cause you're white and so supreme. Doctors, nurses, scientists and servants. Real boys made from wood, covering for the perverts. Defining definitions that will put you in a spin. Anything of interest gets filed in recycled bin. Algorithms algorizing the content that you post. Collecting information, long-term storage with a host. Five Eyes keeping eyes on you, they're eyeing up your speech. Using legal loopholes to conduct a data breach. Unqualified assessors banning stuff they do not like. Since early 20 2020 this has reached a massive spike. You're swimming in a dirty swamp, the swamp is full of pike. Post a touchy subject and receive a community strike. Unelected unofficials making up the rules. Billion-dollar corporations governing the schools. Satanic worship dictators who distribute the tools. Pervy public servants act like Hitler with the Jews.